Hey there, welcome to Hobie on YouTube. I have a very interesting Boker limited edition knife there on the table. That's one of Boker's Tang Stamp series. So these were released in 2005 as a special factory order for Smoky Mountain Knife Works. There were 12 different traditional slip joint patterns, and each was available in either red bone, green bone, or the staghorn that you see there. But what really made them really nice for collectors is that they all had special shields, blade etches, and tang stamps. The one I have here is a serpentine whittler in stag. It's just a beautiful knife. We'll take a look at the knife and its construction here in a minute. But first I want to show you the blade etch, which was the same across all 12 knives in the series. And it was a reversed frost etch here. And it reads Boker Tang Stamp Series, Solingen, Germany. And then over here on the left there's a date, 1848, and a depiction of their tree brand logo, I guess at the time. And over here, the current year when they released this series, 2005, and their modern logo at the time. So that was the same across all 12 knives in the series, and all 12 knives also carried two special shields. They all had the same shield here on the front, which is a historic depiction of their tree logo, and it reads Tree Brand Boker. So they all had that one, but depending on which knife you got, you might have gotten one of 6 different shields here, each with a different date and a different tree symbol. So this one is 1848, and it was the first of 6 different dates in the series. I'm not sure if it was the first knife released because I don't know what order they released them in, but the other dates were 1887, 1900, 1907, 1915, and 1940. Now I'm not really sure what the significance of those different dates is, because they don't seem to correspond too closely with Boker's logo history as they give that on their website. Nor do they seem to match up with important dates in Boker's history as given in the timeline of the Boker book. So perhaps they're just dates that Boker made a slight change to their shield. I just don't know about that. But each of the 6 different dated shields is matched with a historic tang stamp. And in this case, the serpentine whittler with the 1848 shield, we have a tang stamp that reads R&H Boker's Improved Cutlery, Solingen, Germany. And so I just think that is really, really cool and interesting for collectors. Now I went through the Boker Tang Stamp chart in the Old Knife World article by Mark Zielinski, and all of the tang stamps that they used seem to be appropriate for the time frame given on the shield, with the exception of one of them. I think it was 1907, and that one just didn't seem to match up to me. So with 6 different special shields and 6 different tang stamps, but 12 knives in the series, you had 2 knives with each one. For example, this 1848 shield and the tang stamp that I just showed you went with the serpentine whittler, of course, and the trapper. And so I just think that was a good way to do it originally, because if you just wanted to collect the 6 different shields and tang stamps, you had a choice of 2 knives for each one of them. Okay, let me show you this knife. It's just a really nice knife. It's a serpentine whittler, and sometimes these are called splitback whittlers because, you know, they'll have 2 springs, because they have a main blade in the front and 2 blades in the back. So in the back we have a little coping blade, and it also has a tang stamp. This is Boker's modern tang stamp. Boker, Zolligen, Germany. But you have the little coping blade, and you have a little pen blade. Now they each get their own spring, but the main blade, the clip that you've seen, rides on both of those springs. So the way knife companies used to do this, this with two blades back here, one blade up here, the knife had to be wider back here and narrower up here. They would often put a little brass divider between the two springs that tapered down, tapered away. So that's where they get the name Splitback whittler. If you look at a case modern whittler, what they've done is they haven't put any kind of divider in there. They just make the main blade extremely thick with an extremely thick tang that'll match up with the thickness of the springs. What Boker's done here, which I just think is great, is they have tapered those springs all the way down. They didn't just taper a liner, and they didn't just put a thicker tool in the front. They actually tapered the blades. The springs along their length. So you can see how much narrower they are here at the main blade end, where you have one blade, than they are down here, where you have two blades. I just think that is really great knife construction. As far as I know, that is really cool. And I don't see many other companies doing that. So gorgeous stag. Looks like there might be a little fissure in it right here, but it's not a pin crack, and that's a natural material. They're fairly well matched as far as thickness, although this one seems to have much more of an edge down here than this one does. But yeah, they're just, I think the badges look great in there. As you can see, they have that black enamel background. I can just tell you that the construction of the knife is great. All the springs and liners are very flush. There are no gaps to mention between the liners and the springs, or the covers and the liners. The blade centering is good. With a whittler like this, you're always going to get some blade rub, I believe, at least on the two smaller blades, but I have no complaints about the construction. Everything's very flush, the pins. They were able to grind these cover pins flush because of the way they cut the stag. It's smooth right here, and they were able to grind it all together, I guess, leaving the bark here in the middle. And then you've got this spun domed pin, center pin. It's just a great looking knife, and it's a really well built knife. And I think it's just a very interesting thing to do for collectors. Who else would do this? I mean, I wasn't collecting Bokers back in 2005. I'm sorry I missed out on this, but what other knife company would go to all this trouble? 12 different patterns, 2 shields a knife, 6 different shields, and 6 different Tang stamps, and a special blade etch. All available in 3 different covers, green bone, red bone, or stag. Very, very amazing. Good job, Boker. Thanks for watching.